Hey guys, Old Guy Gaming here, back again with another MTG Arena video, and tonight we're going to be covering Mono Blue Tempo. But wait, OGG, you say? You've already covered Mono Blue Tempo in a previous video, and you are correct. We did cover the deck before in Guilds of Ravnica Standard. However, a couple of cards came out in Ravnica Allegiance that kind of make the deck just a little bit better. This is a deck that I recommend for new players to Arena, because it is a very budget-friendly deck. Most of the cards in the deck are common and uncommon cards, meaning your wild cards are super easy to get. There are only a couple of rare cards, one of which you get in one of the welcome decks or the starter decks whenever they come out. But the rest of the cards are common and uncommon cards. So even on paper, I think that the deck at the time of recording is like $90. So for a really good competitive top tier standard deck, to spend $90 on that deck is really kind of crazy. So even on Arena, with again the budget being not dollars and cents necessarily, but wild cards, super easy to put together. So if you are a new player to Arena, this is probably a really good, easy first competitive deck to build to help you grind out some wins. So let's go ahead and take a look if you haven't seen it before. So the deck is Mono Blue Tempo, and Tempo meaning it's a all blue counter deck for all intents and purposes. You do get some card draws with the card Curious Obsession, giving a creature +1/+1, and whenever it does damage allows you to draw cards. That's kind of your draw mechanic throughout the course of the game. The basic premise behind the deck is you have a handful of creatures and you keep them alive as long as humanly possible with counters, dive downs, things like that, things of that nature. Prevent your opponent from doing anything that would hurt you, and put you in a position to win the game by having creatures that are unblockable or flying that will go through, put the damage through, and win the game for you. So Curious Obsession is obviously your card draw mechanic, again, an uncommon card. Dive Down gives your creatures hexproof and +3 on the defensive side, +3 toughness. It's the making them hexproof more than anything else. It's really kind of thing. So if they're going to cast it down, Vraska's Contempt it, do whatever spell that they're going to use to kind of affect it directly, this helps prevent that. Mist-Cloaked Herald, of course, is a beautiful little 1/1 that is an unblockable merfolk, and the Mist-Cloaked Herald and Curious Obsession combo is fantastic because not only can they not block it, but then you're drawing cards and doing 2 damage. Opt is there mostly to allow you to cycle through your deck, dig more cards out. So basically you're playing with a 56 card deck as opposed to a 60 card deck, because it scries 1 and draws 1. It helps you find the card that you're looking for, hopefully. But also is a trigger for the next card, which is Pteramander, which is one of the Ravnica Allegiance contributions to this deck. Now, this one I'm not entirely sold on. And we'll get to the reason why, which is Wizard's Retort. Now, Wizard's Retort, let's kind of go forward for that one. Wizard's Retort is a counterspell. It costs 1 less mana for if you control a wizard. So basically, this turns into the old school counterspell that I know and love for 2 mana. If you have a wizard in play. So normally in the previous meta with Guilds of Ravnica out, this only consisted of wizards. The deck that's the only creatures that you had. So this was a guaranteed 2 counterspell. So to have Pteramander in there, I get it. I get the payoff on it because you have a lot of sorceries and instant spells that kind of go in there, and you can make this a 5/5 flyer for relatively dirt cheap. So we're going to give it a try and see how it does. Plus, I love the artwork. It's fantastic. Siren Stormtamer is one of your wizards, 1/1 flyer, and has the benefit of spending 1 mana to counter a spell or an effect that would trigger a creature you control. So he's basically, for all intents and purposes, a counter spell to prevent someone from taking out one of your larger creatures. 3 Spell Pierces because they're annoying, especially in the early game. That's why I only have 3 of them in there. They get towards the late game. They really do become kind of useless dead cards in your deck. I mean, you can throw them out there to counter a counter spell after someone else has burned through all of their spells. But for all intents and purposes, if they don't tap down towards the end of the game, this is kind of useless. But in the early game, when they're trying to really ramp up quickly, this is a killer. It's a 1 mana counter spell. It's awesome. Essence Capture, also in a Ravnica Allegiance addition to this one, counters a target spell for 2 and puts a target creature spell and puts a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. So this is mostly against the aggro decks. Someone throws down a creature, you're countering it for 2 mana, which is fantastic. It's hyper efficient to be able to counter those spells. Plus you also get the added benefit of adding a +1/+1 counter to one of your creatures. 3 Sinister Sabotages because now you need a good counter suite to make sure you keep your creatures alive. This one also gives you the added benefit of Surveilling, again, to kind of go fish for those cards that you need. You want to preferably have at least 1 or 2 counter spells in hand at all times. Tempest Djinn is going to be your endgame finisher. He is, normally when he hits the table, he's going to be a 3/4 if you play him on curve. Normally you're not going to do that. You want to make sure that you have a counterspell up before you get him down to prevent people from killing him. He is going to eventually win the game for you, hopefully, if you play your cards correctly. So he is your winner right there. That's your win condition for all intents and purposes. But I've won plenty of games with the other small creatures that we've talked about. And then Wizard's Report, which we've already talked about as a counterspell, and then 20 Islands. Super simple deck. The only rares, again, this is uncommon, common, uncommon, uncommon, common, uncommon, uncommon. These are the only rares. So you do get 1 Tempest Djinn in one of the starter decks. So really, for a brand new arena player, this is going to cost you 3 rare cards, and the rest of them are common and uncommon cards. That's it. And again, this deck's winning Grand Prix and stuff. It's a pretty amazing deck. So let's go ahead and we will, as promised, continue to play this deck in ranked play and see how it does. I know whenever looking at some of the decks and tournaments results that I've seen recently, this deck keeps popping up. I mean, it's just really, really good. Really basic. Strategy super simple. And it has a lot of answers. I'm not happy about the 1 land, though. Ugh. I do have an opt-in hand. I do have a Spell Pierce. I think I might keep this just to see how it goes. I really only need 2 mana. So I am going to hold this until next turn. Depending on what he casts, I'm either going to Spell Pierce it or I'm going to opt. And he did nothing. So I am going to drop the opt. Hopefully find that missing mana. Oh, we so want that. I think I'm going to hold on to it. No mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 1 more turn. We can hold on to it. Getting mana screwed, not cool. So he's playing black-blue. I'm going to assume the next one's a Thought Erasure. Nope, there's the mana we're looking for. So I think I'm going to throw this down on the old Siren Stormtamer. He's probably got a Spell Pierce in hand, but... Okay, so don't make the rookie mistake. The rookie mistake is, oh, let's put Curious Obsession on this. So one of the lines of this is if you, during the beginning of the end state, if you didn't attack, you need to sacrifice it. So you need to save this for the next turn. Helpful pro tip right there. We still have mana online for Spell Pierce, which is going to be good. And then hopefully by next turn we're hitting him with Curious Obsession. Hopefully we get that second land draw. We're going to Spell Pierce that. We need to keep that up. I mean, worst case scenario, we've got 2... Oh, really, really want Curious Obsession on him, but we are going to hold. That is one of the things with a tempo deck, is that you really need to take your time. Be patient. This is not an aggro deck. That's better. So my suspicion is he's got a counter. So I'm going to throw down the Pteramander. Or the Pteramander. I keep... Oh, totally could have got away with it. Still need to keep Wizard Reports up. Ooh. I suspect we're playing control. Let's put it on the Pteramander. He's going to counter it. If he's got it. Sinister Sabotage. Vraska's Contempt. I think I'm going to go ahead and counter that with the Stormtamer. And still hold the Wizard's Retort up. Oh no, we lost the Wizard's Retort. Ah, it is what it is. Hopefully we'll draw into what we need. That was a mistake. Teferi. Yep, that's going to cost us. That is going to cost us. Now, if I hadn't done that and I had left that up, I'd have the mana to counter Teferi. Ah, the mistakes we made in games. So I am going to throw down another Stormtamer. And then I'm going to start punching Teferi in the face. The next thing he's going to do is probably a board wipe, would be my guess. If he has it.
Let's skip to the good part.
Or he's looking for it, one or the other. I would really love another counter in my hand. Since I know the board wipes are coming, I'm going to probably hold on to some of these too. My guess is he's going to have a settle. Let's see what he does. It's taking me so much so much more work to get Teferi off the board.
Want me to phase you out of time?
And we'll drop the other Pteramander. I know the board wipe's coming, so as much as it's going to stink to let that go, I've got to let it go. Because now he's just going to Cleansing Nova or something along those lines.
Hurry!
He's looking for it. Kaya's Wrath. No, thank you. If he's got a Negate or something like that. Nope, I think I'm going to sacrifice him to counter that. So we've effectively countered everything he did. And I should have enough spells in here to be able to make this thing a 5/5 now. Which I do. Really wish I was getting more counters, but unfortunately I'm going to have to go with the Stormtamer, which he's probably going to counter. He did not. Let's go for broke on this one. Take Teferi out. He probably has another one in hand anyway. Leave the 1 mana open to prevent that from happening. Thought Erasure. You can take the Pteramander. Not much I can do about it anyway. And this is how we lose the game. Yeah, no, and we spent 4 turns. We spent 4 turns trying to make up for our Teferi mistake, and now we're going to lose the game. Ooh, he's got the full art one. I have mad respect, my friend.
You know what?
It means he was part of the closed beta testing. So now he's going to have enough counters to do whatever he wants to do. Now my counter spells are coming. Interestingly enough, I'm going to be really kind of curious to see what his win condition is. Because these Teferi decks tend to run with only 1 or 2 win conditions. He's going to have all the counters. Oh. That's his win condition. Okie dokie. Well, I made my mistake. Made my mistake and let him get Teferi out, and that is going to cost me the game. Flash, no less. So, again, rarely going to see this happen, but he's going to counter this, and then I am going to... Figure 2. And I will go ahead and concede this one, because he is going to out-counter us at this juncture. He's got the card draw ability. Yep, no, I made my mistake. I should have left the wizard on the board. so that I could have countered Teferi. We live and we learn. I knew it right after I did it too. It's super frustrating. Mist-Cloak's got a couple of counters. Okay. Hold on to that. Old Gutter Bones. Drop the Mist-Cloak. So the problem with this deck, of course, is it gets wide quick. No, not worth it for a creature that's going to recur. Vaishino. Yeah, I can see this getting out of hand quickly. So I think I'm going to play on the defensive end of this. Can do that next turn. I've got the mana. I think I'm just going to hold. So now what I got to do is I got to play through his hand and counter everything that he's got that comes down. So we can replace our Mist-Cloak. So I am going to kill the Vaishino. Tempted to use the dive down, but no, because I want the wizard out there for this. Oh, heck no. Would have been nice to have the Herald out there, but no. So again... I feel like I need to get something down. But I gotta hold up Sinister Sabotage. I'm gonna wait. If I get one more mana, I can start putting down these 1/1s. Oh, no sir. And this will give me the opportunity to go find that 1 mana. Pteramander. Cool, but no. I have creatures. Gutter Bones. Wizard's Retort. Alright, well if I cast a wizard, that means I've got only 2 mana, so I've got that up. Really not liking the card draw I'm pulling here. I'm going to have to let that go through. No, sir. There's a Pteramander. Do still have a Spell Pierce on hand, and I do have a Dive Down on hand. I think I'm going to wait. Because he is now out of cards. Now he's in the top draw phase, or what am I thinking? Top deck phase of this. If I really wanted to... How many do I have in this? 1, 2, 3. Still got a ways to go. So I think I am going to kill this. I'm going to block with a Pteramander, and then I'm going to dive down. I need to stay alive here. Down to 1 card. Oh boy, would it be really nice if I can get like anything else. Card draw would be amazing. But instead, I'm going to have to hold up blockers for a bit. That's much better. Thank you. absolutely take that and drop that. Can't afford to keep taking that kind of damage. I think I'm willing to sacrifice that one and that one. So his triggers doesn't actually happen. Sure. Spend 2 on it. He really wants to cast that 3rd card. Or not. I will take my card draw, which is a land. None of this stuff I really need. I need real counters now. Sinister Sabotages. That's more like it. So he's got me in 2 turns unless well, he's going to be able to pull those back. And I'll counter it. Put it right back in the graveyard. Yeah, he can get the 1. I just need blockers. And the upside is if he swings in, I'm going to be able to make that a 4/4 and actually not lose creatures as I'm doing this. So I'm just going to go in for the card draw. Whole bunch of spell pierces. If he decides to swing... I'm going to block that, and I'm going to block that. And unless he's got something scary, hold it back from the brink. Holy cow. And that is kind of the key for this deck. It's timing. Take your time. Whew. I thought we were going to lose that one. What do we get? Ooh. Oh, that's one of the... It's Draft Shank. No one ever uses that card. I hadn't seen that one before. Alright, let's keep going. Keep going. Get a couple more games in with this deck. I really thought we were going to lose that one. And it's a fairy deck. Like, I can beat that deck. I have beaten that deck. I just really made a big mistake. Again, what is it with the 1-land hands? Come on. I'm going to have to do the same... Ooh, this might be a mirror match. Which means we need to hold. Because we're going to be facing counters on top of counters. He can draw. And you need to keep that in mind, especially with these control decks. You need to, as much as you don't want to let them draw, you have to let it happen. You want to stop the ones that are really the pain in the butt. Can't really stop that. Let's see what he does next. It's the Curious Obsession I'm worried about. We will opt on this turn, since he's at the end of his turn. Sure. I'll take the mana. Cool. So we're going to drop our own Pteramander. And we're going to wait. See what he does. Most likely he's going to try to Curious Obsession this. I'll let the one go through. We're going to opt on our turn. That's what we want. We have to wait, though. We have to wait our turn. And I am just going to hold... If we're going to sit down and exchange fire here for a little bit, let's do that. I've got all the counter spells. Nope. Been waiting on that. I wouldn't mind our own, but it is what it is. So the most he can have right now is a Spell Pierce, which is non-creature spells. So we are going to go ahead and drop the Djinn. Even if he gets Curious Obsession on that thing, it's going to slam into a Djinn. Probably a bit risky here, but let's see what happens on this turn. He finally got his third land, so now he can start countering. And he's got his own Djinn. Okay, so we're going to put our own Pteramander down. Let's see what he does when I send... Yeah, I think I am going to send it. His does not have enough to kill mine. He knows it, so he's just going to take it to the face. If we must, we can actually block one of these. I'm actually kind of okay with that. Yeah, you want that as a blocker. So now we're going to hold. If he does nothing on his turn, we're going to convert one of the Pteramanders. Curious Obsession would be awesome right now. I've got 3. I'm not going to let that happen. Now, he could potentially counter my counter, but he's going to let that go. Ooh, and then we'll just replace it. Sure, works for me. Charter Course, again, let him draw his cards. He is down to only one... Oh, there we go. Let's see if he's willing to trade. No, not all of you. Just one. Yep, let's get these big boys off the board. I thought he might have a dive down in his hand, which I was going to counter, but alas. He's thinking. If it gets down to my turn, we are going to convert one. Yeah, that doesn't work the way you thought it was going to, I'm sorry to say. Now, I probably could have countered the Merfolk Trickster, but I'm waiting for bigger and better things. I'm actually willing to take the damage from them at this point. My turn. I will convert them again. Ooh, all the tricks. All the tricks in the book. Nope. Can't have it. Oh, really? We're in a counter off. All of that to put one tapped and on the ground. Okay, I'll hold for a turn. I see you have your own Pteramander. Alright, this should be interesting. So I am going to swing in with both. He's going to block one of his Pteramanders with my Pteramanders. I'm going to dive down my Pteramander. He's going to try to dive down his, and then I'm going to spell Pierce. Or he's going to quit. Ooh, such a good game. What was your name? Your name is Marley? Marley, you ever see this? Great game. Very well played. Super hard to get those out like that, especially in the mirror match. It's really a question of who has the most counters in their hand at that juncture, because it's a counter off is really what it is. Mikey CT. Okay, got some counters, got some ops. We will keep it. Oh, mono red. Alright, this is going to be brutal. So we are going to take some damage. But if we stay the course, we can survive. He's going to hit us for the 1. So what we really need is to prevent him from burning us. That's exactly what we need. So I'm going to put my Mist-Cloaked Herald in. I really need to find my Djinn. It's the only thing that's going to stop him. He's going to shock or lightning bolt it, so we're going to dive it down. I'm actually going to take that. No. No, I'm not. Okay. Oh, the temptation to go through and hope. No. Because, alright, so what I'm thinking is my temptation is to put Curious Obsession on the Mist-Cloaked Herald and get the card draw and hope for a land so that I have my counterspells up. But if I don't have the counterspells up, I am in trouble. So I am not going to do that this turn. And of course I did find the Djinn that I need, but I need more mana to make sure it doesn't die. Lava Coil still exists. We're going to counter that, prevent that from happening. Pteramander, perfect. Yep, this is going to hurt. So now we've got a blocker. I need to go for the risk of getting the card drawn now, because we are getting really low. We dropped a land. Perfect. Prevent whatever the other combo he's got going on. He's going to have to pay the 2. Take us down to 1. Ugh. All he needs is a shock at this point. So we need... all the wizard's retorts. We need 1 turn where he doesn't get a burn spell. Which I know is asking a lot. Nope. I think he had us anyway, no matter what. We only had the 1 blocker up. I always get so tensed up whenever I play against that deck because it's so fast, does so much damage. Alright, let's close out on a win, shall we? Hopefully. I'll go back and watch that game and go, no, here's where you made your mistake, stupid. You should have done this. You should have done that. Ewok Nuggets. That's a name. Holy cow, dude. Ewok Nuggets, he says. Alright, there we go. We've got some mana, got some creatures. Okay. And we are going to say hello. Super tempting to Curious Obsession on the first turn. I'm going to hold for the second. Or the first turn after this. Like, I want to make sure that I've got the ability to prevent him from doing things. Please don't be red. Please don't be red. Please don't be red. Come on, Ewok Nuggets. Please don't be red. Please don't be a roper that's waiting to put a land down. Come on, man. Someone with such a cool name should be able to be a good player. Or at least a fun player. There we go. Okay, so it looks like we're going to play control. I don't suspect they're going to cast a creature in the first turn. So that also means that Essence Capture is going to be basically useless. So let's go fishing. All the Essence Captures I want. And I shall opt. No, I don't want the land. I've got land in hand. I need more counters. That's perfect. All the counters. No, sir. I don't like it. Take that, control deck. It feels bad. Can't beat him, join him, right, with the mono blue tempo deck. So, I do hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe. Let me know how you would improve this deck. I know there's a couple of other cards. One of the ones I'm missing that I really did like, I should probably go into that because I never show sideboards. I always forget. Because these are built for best of 3. Ooh, what do we win? What do we win? Woodland Streams. I got a tap land. That should not happen. There is a sideboard to this deck. If we go super heavy into the, I'm playing against another counter deck, we add an additional spell pierce for the sidebar, 2 blinks of an eye to be able to return our creatures in case they decide to, pull them off the board, board wipe, things like that. Disdainful Stroke, that's mostly for things like your Teferis, things of that nature, more negates. There is a Quench in here. Diamond Mare, this is mostly for the mono red build. If you're playing against mono red and you pick red, every time they cast a spell, they're just gaining life. Sure, it's lightning bolt bait, but if you're able to keep it alive, like you keep your other creatures alive, that can be super annoying every time they cast a spell. Exclusion Mage, also very good. Helps you get for other mono, like the big gigantic creatures on the board, bumps them off. Sleep and Entrancing Melody. Love Sleep because it's especially against those decks that go super wide, Merfolk decks, token decks, things like that. Puts everything to sleep and allows you to get through those last couple of bits of damage. And Entrancing Melody, of course, to really drive people crazy and gain target creature that you want. I like that big creature. I'm going to take it. So again, do hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe. It really helps support the channel. I'm up to almost 150 subs already, and that's super exciting for something that I kind of do for fun and as a hobby. So thank you guys really so much. I do appreciate it. There is a Patreon if you are so inclined. That is patreon.com/oldguygamingmtga. And until next time, guys, we shall see you in the arena. This video was brought to you in no small part by our patrons. If you would like to help out the channel, go to www.patreon.com/oldguygamingmtga, and thank you for your